because the next map after this is going to be Expedition Lost, but still, very dangerous pick. It's going to be on Echo up against SOS. Ragnarok, he hasn't had too much success in Pro League this season.
I cannot believe they're using Ragnarok here, to be honest.
I'm so happy, man. He's my boy.
I'm happy, but this is a huge pressure situation for this guy. This guy has played one game of Pro League. They're sending him out here in the round 3 playoffs. It doesn't, you don't get more pressure than this.
No.
If CJ goes down 2-0 this early on, it is not going to be good for CJ.
He's been in CJ for a while now, so I'm sure they trust him a lot. I'm sure he does very well in the practice house, but here's the smiling assassin once again, SOS. He's taking down their best. Can he take down a Zerg now? In terms of stats, we haven't seen much from Ragnarok in quite a while. He hasn't had much luck in Pro League, losing to Sue in his last game.
Yep.
Lost in the Star League qualifiers pretty early on.
He got kicked out of the Kespa Cup qualifiers by SGW.
No one knows who that is, Valdez.
Who is he lost 0-2 to a Protoss. SGW. Does anyone know who that is? If they know who that is, I want you to tweet at me. I'm at Brandon Valdez. Tweet at Moonglade, at MoongladeAU.
Let's figure this out.
Tell us who this guy is. He's got a 28% win rate against Zerg, and he defeated Ragnarok 0-2 in the Kesma Cup qualifiers.
The scary thing, Valdez.
And now Ragnarok is going up against SOS.
I still believe in him.
Let's see if the stars will align tonight for CJ Entis.
They have once this round. Let's see if they do it again.
Yep. It's going to be an extremely interesting game, I have to say. Is there a snipe build plan for SOS on this map? I would hope so.
I think that must be right, but it's going to be a tricky one.
Huge pressure situation for Ragnarok right now. Like we said, he's got almost no experience in Pro League and really not doing well in any of the individual league qualifiers. Got kicked out of GSL by, I think it was Parting and some Zerg player. Just really not working out for this guy. Yeah, Parting and Dark. 0-2-0-2.
Well, you know, they are pretty good players as well, so let's not hold it against him, Valdez.
I won't hold it against him.
No, don't ever hold
I like him too much.
Yeah, he's such a sweet kid.
Yeah. Well, let's go into the game, guys. Game number 2 here between SOS and Ragnarok. Down here in the bottom right, in the green for the Jin Air Green Wings. He's got 1 kill so far. It's SOS.
And up here to the top left, for CJ, it is Ragnarok, the young gun, looking to make a name for himself today. Hasn't had much luck in any sort of tournament in recent times.
Yeah, nothing much. That's why I think this is definitely 100% a snipe pick. He's definitely prepared.
Look at this.
Well, I mean, it's SOS against a Zerg player. What do you expect?
I expect a Forge Cannon Rush, Valdez. But it is a bit of a harder map to do it on. It's a very small map. Not the easiest positioning for a cannon either.
No. Look at the predictions here from our fans. 82% goes to SOS. Only 18 going to Ragnarok.
Looks like it's going to be a Nexus first, actually, by the looks of things here. So SOS is going to play greedy. That pylon at the front.
Well,
and, ooh, a drone scout from Ragnarok.
Actually, I think he's going to drop this Forge down here.
Maybe he will.
He's going to drop it right there. Oh, it's going to be a gateway. Okay.
All right. So gateway expand with it at the front there. Makes sense. He was very greedy with his chronos on his probes. So. Yeah. And Ragnarok might be looking for that hatchery in the natural.
You definitely could do it. You know, with that gateway here, it's going to be kind of hard to stop it. He's just going to come in for the scout to start things off.
So I guess goes for that expansion regardless. And that makes a lot of sense too, because obviously no Forge on the map. Gateway you see, easiest expand of your life.
Yeah. And, you know, I think this drone scout was just Ragnarok saying, okay, this is SOS against a Zerg. I have to drone scout. He's like the master of cannons. Force fast expands. And we're just going to see the Nexus coming out here from SOS. Very greedy build. He's going to get up his tank and his Nexus very, very fast.
Pretty safely at the same time, though. Putting it at that ramp, you can always make a wall off in due time against anything sort of aggressive. But he has scouted exactly what's going on as well. And he says, okay, hatch first to a later pull. Probably looking for that third base at some point, too. Getting it pretty early.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to steal the gas of SOS. Not a bad idea. And we do see that third base coming down here as well. So Ragnarok going to be pretty happy with the way things have turned out so far. We do see he does complete the gas. He does steal that.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Getting a gas steal on a gateway new expand is it's much more of a delay than if you're doing it against something, I guess, like a Nexus first, because it's just not going to be the same. They can just simply put the gases on it, they're natural, and it's never going to be the same effect. But if you're committing to that gateway before a Nexus, it will slow down your gas income quite significantly in the early game.
Yeah, for sure. And we're even going to see SOS try to chrono boost out a Stalker here.
Yeah,
wonder if he's going to...
Might be looking for this Overlord.
Yeah, you know, it's in the main base right now. But I think it will be able to get to that back corner in time. It's already pretty much back there. Yeah.
Doesn't scout too much, but he does find the pile at the back of the minerals there, so it's going to be harder for SOS to hide tech back there.
Man, SOS really wants to keep everything secret from Ragnarok, but look at this. 2 Zerglings going to get into the base too.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, very nicely done.
No speed, of course, here for Ragnarok, but you will be able to get another full scout of the base, pretty much.
Behind this, Ragnarok simply just droning up hardcore, as the Zergs do in the early game here. Only 1 gas as well.
And see robotics tech from SOS.
Interesting.
This could be a number of things. I don't think he's going to Immortal in. I think it might just be Warp Prism Harass, actually.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. We already see 1 sentry out. If he starts to produce more, it will be much more of a giveaway that he intends to go for maybe sentry drop into warp ins or just a third base behind it.
We're going to have to wait and see exactly what he's going to go for. He finally gets up that 3rd gas. Not taking the 4th gas at his natural just yet.
Now that's interesting. We could see maybe a big swell of gateways behind this. Only 3 gas is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. You know, it still could be an Immortal all in here. But the Overlord is going to scout this, and it is going to be a Warp Prism to start things off.
Oh, and a Twilight. Okay. So quite possibly Blink Stalker's behind this, but off 3 gas.
Very interesting.
I think we only have 2 sentries out as well for this. So he's not going to have all the force fields in the world. He's not going to be able to find too much damage in terms of harassment either. And with only 1 gateway as well. So it is what it is. Be able to like keep him on his side of the map for a while. Ragnarok could be a little bit distracted.
Yeah. And that 3rd gas is, or rather the 4th gas is still not taken. These Zerglings, right before the speed finishes up, they do get the scout on the Warp Prism. Knew that was definitely a possibility, but now he knows for sure. We're going to see a Dark Shrine come down.
Oh, okay.
And he finally takes that 4th gas.
Well, while this is happening, these Lings at the front are actually doing a lot of damage to a Stalker. We'll get a look at that in just a sec, but they're actually going to kill it and do some real harassment.
Yeah, it's going to be annoying for SOS. Kind of to bring some units back to deal with that. And we do see these units coming over for some harass. Just 2 Zealots, 2 Sentries coming in, but not finding much just yet.
So DT Shrine and Blink and +1 behind it. So he can go for more harassment with it, then go into that Blink Stalker play. 5 gateways added as well.
Yeah.
SOS just doing his freestyle, man.
He's just doing what he wants to do. This is SOS for you. And he does have a probe, I believe, going over to that 3rd base as well. Continuing to make probes. Just going to get the gateways out here first. By the way, Ragnarok has been very, very meticulous with his scouting. The Overlord's coming in multiple times now. An Overseer in the main base of SOS. Ragnarok has done his homework here against SOS. He knows what kind of player he is.
He's a scary player, and he's a very tricky player, so it makes sense. It looks like he was that sniper player, just simply built for SOS in this game, in this series.
And it's not like he's even doing a specific build. He's just playing very straight up, but scouting a ton. He's already got 3 Overseers on the map.
Yeah, he's completely covered for DTs at this point. So maybe SOS might think twice about actually committing to it as well. We don't see him actually warping in any so far, and he has been finished for a while. He knows for sure that it was scouted, so he's got to pick his time correctly.
Yeah. Looks like he just wants to save his money, to be honest. He's like, oh, well, you've scouted everything, and you definitely have the tools to deal with it, so I'm just not even going to commit to any DTs just yet.
Simply going into that Blink Stalker, adding some Immortals as well. It's a pretty damn powerful style on this map as well. A lot of choke points to take advantage of.
Oh, yeah. A lot of ramps. There's not much open space.
No.
I think the best place for Ragnarok to fight is around the middle of the second and third bases.
Yeah, it's like Zerg can't really fight there unless they have Blinding Cloud or a perfect position, because force fields are always just going to make it so much harder and cut off so much of the army. There's so much gas actually for SOS at this point. He could be warping in a ton more sentries behind this to really help out with that when that fight finally comes. And it's only minerals at that third base as well for SOS. No gas invested in either. He could be looking to be aggressive behind this.
Yeah, he definitely could. He adds 3 more gates, so going up to a total of like 8 or 9 by now for this Protoss player, but not really committing to much at all just yet. He's floating a ton of minerals and gas. I think he's actually just deciding what to do. Yeah. Finally, we do see a ton of Stalkers being warped in.
Okay. And +2, third of the way done. More Immortals coming out. And look at what we're seeing from Ragnarok behind all of this. He's going for the 1/1 Ling upgrades. He's getting Pathogen Glands, so he wants to think about going into Infestors at some point, which is also a pretty interesting tech choice. He gets the Fungals off, it's perfect, but it's tricky, especially if it goes even later and we see SOS investing into Storm and Templar.
Yeah, that's when it gets very scary. I mean, we were talking about that gas bank. We do see him finally adding a Templar Archives. So definitely an option here for SOS. Not sure if he really got the scout much just yet, but it is going to be the right choice for him here. We do see Ragnarok chasing this Warp Prism around the map. That's gotten no damage done at all.
But it always has that threat on the map, which makes you be so defensive as a Zerg player, because all it takes is like a big warp in and you've lost a hatchery in seconds. So he's got to be so wary. He's got to have so much map control and map vision.
And here we go. Just like you were saying, the 4 Zealots are dropped down onto that Queen. Going to snipe him out. Not going to choose to warp in much, as the army of Ragnarok is right in position. He will lose that Queen at least.
Still doing some decent damage here. While still happening, Ragnarok actually looking for a 4th base on the map on that right side with a bunch of Roach Ling. And he's just planning to play very defensively from here. He's got that Infestors out already, and he's finished top hive at this point too.
Yeah, he's just sitting back. He's like, okay, come at me. Let's play late game ZVP. I'm totally fine with that.
And that's interesting because generally we see late game ZVP go pretty in heavily favor of the Protoss these days.
I wonder if it's a scout, like a read on SOS, where he's like, oh, you're not that good in late game PvZ. You're really about these mid-game pushes. And he's like, okay, if I can make it there, I should be fine. And SOS has pretty much allowed Ragnarok to get there at least.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like SOS has been just sitting in base with this basic army. He's been going for Templar with Storm. So he's got a very scary army, especially against what we see from Ragnarok so far.
Oh, look at this. Going to snipe out some of the high Templar. This is huge.
All right, well, that changes everything. That just changes everything. That's a huge move from Ragnarok.
And he traded only about 3 Roaches. I mean, there could be another Blink here to clean those guys up, but they do have that Roach speed. Going to get away for now.
It's like 1 Storm in this army now. He lost so many Storms.
Yeah, we do see another warp in. It looks like 4 or 5 High Templar from SOS, but it's going to take a while to get that energy.
Oh, man. And look at this. We actually are seeing great cancel there in the 4th phase and 5 Ultras on the way with 2-2.
And the Roaches are coming back in. They want more damage. It doesn't look like they're going to find much. A big warp and a Zealots with charge and everything coming back to deal with him. But still, he will trade out some of those Roaches. Again, get another cancel on his 4th phase.
Ragnarok. Playing
Ragnarok, you dirty boy.
You glorious. young man. He's doing fantastic work today already. But it's going to be about how he's going to deal with this giant army there, how he's going to deal with Immortals and Storm. Even with Ultras, you know, Ultras are going to do some work, but obviously Immortals are a natural counter to them.
We're seeing it looks like a bit of a transition into Broodlords. A bunch of Corruptors come out here, Greater Spire halfway done, but I'm not sure if SOS is going to give him that time.
He shouldn't, that's for sure. I mean, both players are nearing max at this point. SOS's army is definitely going to get more and more redundant as the game gets longer, especially if Broodlords are coming into play. He does have a good composition for what he's up against now, so long as he doesn't get big fungals on top of his army, especially his Templar.
Yeah, feedbacks are going to have to be key for SOS, that high Templar control.
Down this ramp is a scary choice. Look at that.
Nice Blinding Clouds coming down, a fungal missing, but SOS just going to back off. He doesn't take any damage from that, just burns some of the energy of Ragnarok's.
Yeah, he's going to try again. Nice storms on the Hydra. And big hits on those Ultras as well from the Immortals.
Looks like Ragnarok's not comfortable taking this fight just yet. Trying to go for some good fungals. He gets a not so good one, and even some harass coming into the main base. And now, look at that Greater Spire positioning. It's going to come right down.
That was before anything got warped as well, or morphed. So he made like 8 Corruptors for nothing, essentially. They ain't going to do anything. But nice sort of positioning from Ragnarok.
Oh man, all those High Templar in the back did get taken out, but this is still such a scary Protoss army. He's going to take out that third base.
Yeah.
The main is still getting harassed. 25 drones go down.
That debris, that movement to debris also really secured the army's safety from SOS. So great move there. Great use of Immortals. And now everything's kind of getting cleaned up at this point. Yeah. Ragnarok's in shambles.
He's losing everything, man. He's going to bank on a bunch of Ultras coming out, but I'm not sure that's going to be the answer here. We got 3 Archons, 5 Immortals, and still DTs out on the map. I don't see any Overseers at all.
Everything getting annihilated. There's just nothing he can do against this army at this point. He needed Broodlords. He needed them a lot earlier.
Bad timing.
It's like he needed Broodlords or he needed a bigger army. It was one or the other, and he was stuck in between.
Yeah. And that was so unfortunate. The Greater Spire positioning. GG. SOS is going to game number 2. Makes it look easy here against Ragnarok, doing his job. Trav, it looks like, is possibly the next player up, but kind of smiling and laughing. Well, maybe he won't play now.
I don't think so. I think it's like, well, I guess I don't have to play. I guess we might see another Zerg player come out. It's going to be Expedition Lost the next map, so good for Zerg. But do they really want to use Bial against the Protoss player at this point?
I don't know. Even if Bial is able to take him out, he goes into Cactus Valley. He's shown some pretty shaky games against Terran on that map. It's not a good position right now for CJ. Ragnarok looking crushed. Kind of how he got crushed in that game. That was very, very one-sided for SOS.
Very unfortunate there. He was playing great during the mid-game, but when he got to that late game, just caught out by a bigger army in between techs. So very unfortunate. Maybe he needed some static defense to help buy more time. Maybe just needed to take a big fight before he did make that transition to Broodlords.
Yeah, I mean, that is a gigantic transition. It takes a very long time.
Very expensive.
That is not a big map, man. That is one of the smallest we have. It was so easy for SOS to just walk straight to the third base of Ragnarok. He was right there, literally. The fourth base is like 30 seconds away, maybe not even.
Yeah, and that's like
10 seconds, man.
It was literally 16 supply of his army invested into Corruptors that could do nothing as well.
Yeah. I mean, even if he was warping the Broodlords, by the time they were morphed, everything would have gone down, you know?
Yeah. And even when SOS sees this, he's like, okay, I change my game plan. I don't fight you head on. I start warping in everywhere else. I take down your bases while you try and move across the map. Things get very complicated, so you got to find the perfect time to be doing this kind of style.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to take a 3-minute break first. When we come back, SOS versus